Hi folks, so in this video what we're going to do is we're going to go through the process of making this little chocolate bar exercise here, and really what it's actually going to be focusing on is doing a linear pattern, okay, which is a new tool that we're going to learn about. So to get started we're going to be basically making this guy. We're going to start with the base piece. We're going to go into an individual square. We're going to add in a little logo. We're going to do a little fillet, and then we're going to pattern the fillet to complete the bar and apply appearances. Okay, so that's the stages it's going to go. Quite a quick video, but it's going to teach us the process of using a linear pattern. So I'm going to exit this out here now. Click don't save. So what you do, like always, we're going to go into file, going to click on new, click part, and click OK. So step number one, what we're going to do is we're going to do a sketch on the top plane. So we're going to go over here to our top plane, click it once, left click once, and select the sketch icon. We're now in an active sketch. Now, starting on the origin, we're going to start here on the sketch toolbar. So select the sketch toolbar, come over here to your rectangle tool, click the drop down arrow, and I'm going to start with a center rectangle. Starting on the origin, click once, let go, drag out, click again when you're happy with the size of it, making a rough rectangle there. We're going to go up to press escape to deactivate your tool. The rectangle tool is still active. Now we're going to go up here to our sketch toolbar, click on the sketch tab, and select smart dimension. We're going to click on this horizontal line here, and we're going to make it 103 millimeters long. And then we're going to click on this vertical line here, and we're going to make it 47. Okay, so there we have it. Now with that shape there, this rectangle, we're going to go to our features toolbar and we're going to extrude that. So extruding that, you'll see here, it's going to bring it up and down. You can either grab the little handle here and you can pull it up and down, okay, to make a prism. But we have a specific measurement over here. So our condition is going to be blind, but our dimension here is actually going to change to 6.5. Okay, click anywhere to accept. Now the next thing I want, in any chocolate bar, it kind of slopes at a bit of an angle. So we're going to select this little icon here. This is a new icon, and what this does is it allows us to apply what's called a draft. So if I select this icon here, it's going to allow me to put in a dimension. Now sometimes they might have dimension set in, but you'll see here, if you look in, okay, let's say this was set at, can we go below 1? No, 1. Now it's very kind of, it's not prominent there as you can see it. If you look in here, as I increase the value, watch what happens to the object. And basically what it's doing, it's applying a slope to the object. Okay, and it's happening all around the faces. But we don't want 36, we want a really gentle slope, and it's going to be 10. 1, 0, 10. Now you can see there, it's actually sloping inwards. If, for say, I wanted it outwards, all I would do is I click that and it will slope out in the opposite direction. I don't want outward, so I'm going to untick that. That's the way I want it to slope. Click the green arrow to accept. So that's a really handy way of, when you're extruding something, if you don't want it to come straight up and you want a gentle slope, you can use a draft tool. Okay, now that we've done something here, I'm actually going to rename this feature. So it's a habit you should get into, is renaming your features. So this is the base of the bar. So if I was to click on this and press F2 on your keyboard, come to the front of it, I'm going to call it bar base. And click anywhere on the screen, and that has changed. Now at least I know then, if I was looking at that, I know that's the base of the bar. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make an individual square of chocolate on that. So, make an individual square of chocolate. What we're going to do is we're going to select this top surface and select sketch. Okay, we're active in a sketch now. I'm going to click up here on my sketch toolbar, and this time I'm going to click the drop down arrow and I'm going to select a corner rectangle. So select that there. And we're going to draw in, and I'm after aligning it with that by accident there. So once again, corner rectangle. I'm just going to draw a little rectangle roughly in around here like this. Really small, we'll make it bigger as we need to. I'm going to go up to my sketch toolbar, I'm going to click on smart dimension. I'm now going to select this blue line here and this line here on the outside. And fortunately I didn't select that, so I'm just going to undo that. This line and this line. And I want the space between them two, as you can see there. Okay? And I want that space to be 2 millimeters. Now I want the space between this line and this line. Once again, 2 millimeters there. And then what we're going to do is this overall length here is going to be 24. Excuse me. And this overall height is going to be 21. There we go. So there is our chocolate bar. Just checking my dimensions there to confirm that. Yeah. So there's our little chunk that we're going to have. Now what we're going to do is, once again, we're going to extrude that. So we're going to go features, extrude boss base, that's going to come up again, but once again we're going to apply a little draft angle. And the distance it's going to come up is 4 millimeters in height. And we're going to apply a little angle to it again, once again a little draft angle. So click on this, and the dimension this time we're going to change to is 15, and click the green arrow to accept. Okay, so that there is like one little piece of chocolate. Now we're going to add a little bit of detail just to make it stand out like a Cadbury chocolate bar. We're going to click on this surface here, and we're going to click on sketch. What we're going to do now is click anywhere. If the surface is highlighted blue, click anywhere on the screen to deselect it. Go over to your sketch toolbar, and I want you to select in the line tool, select a center line. We're going to go to the corner of the top surface of the chocolate piece there, and I'm going to draw a center line from this corner to this corner, and press escape to deactivate your tool. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into our sketch tab, and we're going to click on offset entities. We're going to set the dimension here to 1 millimeter. And we're actually going to also do this, okay? We're going to make sure that offset geometry is also selected, okay? Sometimes this may not be selected here. I've used it previously. So when we set it to 1 millimeter, we're going to make sure that reverse is not selected, okay? We'll change that, make sure bidirection is not selected, and just have offset geometry selected. So we're going to select that. I'm going to click on this line here, and the line is come in at the correct side. That's the side I want it to come in on, okay? If you wanted it on the other side, you would just click on reverse, okay? I'll unselect reverse. I'm happy with it on this side. Click the green arrow to accept. And you'll see what that does there is, it's a 1 millimeter line. There's a 1 millimeter gap between the two lines, but most importantly, because I said offset geometry, it has also come in as a construction line. Now if I accidentally didn't select that, it's really easy to change it. All you do is you select the line here, and you could select for construction, but as you can see, mine is already on that, okay? If I was actually, just to show you, if I was to deselect this and click the green arrow, it'll go back to a solid heavy line. So I'm going to click on this for construction, green arrow. Okay, now what we're going to do is going to apply a little bit of text, and I'm going to put it on this line here. The reason I use this line is because that was going to be fully dimensioned by assigning it to a corner and a corner, so there's no need for a dimension, and then I could just offset it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the sketch tab, and we're going to select the text icon. Okay, the text, the word I'm going to type in here is Cadbury. And what I'm going to do is down here, before I put in Cadbury, you'll see it goes in here in the middle because we haven't assigned it to anything yet. But over here, where it says use document font, I'm going to untick that. I'm going to click on font. Now the one that I want is up here, it's brushed script, so we're going up to the B's. So we keep going up. So it's called brushed script MT. Select it here. I'm going to go with the italic version. I'm going to set my dimension here to 4 millimeters. So 4. Make sure the spacing here stays at 1, and we're good to go. So brushed MT, italic, 4 millimeters, 1 millimeter spacing. Click the green arrows, click OK, and you can see the Cadbury sign is moved. That's absolutely fine, doesn't really matter, but it looks a little bit better. And what I want to do is I want to assign that Cadbury to this line here. So I go up to my curves, I click on this, click on the curves icon, and click this line, and you can see it's after coming in. Now, if yours comes in and it's over here on the left hand side, you have these different tools here. So this tool here is a line left, this is a line center, which is the one we want, and this one is a line right, okay, in relation to the line. If it came in on the wrong side of the line, you may have to select these guys, and you can flip it upside down. You can also flip it from back to front and have the text obviously wrongly orientated. Okay, so very important, I want it on this line, a line center. Click the green arrow to accept, and click anywhere on the screen. You'll see there it's blue. There we go. Now we're not going to dimension this. It says underdefined, but it's you wouldn't be able to dimension, I suppose, a curve there. Okay, if you wanted to click on it, I'm just going to see no, there's no fix, so that's fine. We're going to go features, and this time we're going to go extrude cut. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut it down. You can see now that's going way too far down into it. We only want this to be minimum. So I'm actually going to set the dimension here over here. We're cutting it down to 0.1. And you'll see there it's very faint. It's gone very far, or very little down. And we're going to click the green arrow to accept. Okay, there's our little Cadbury logo. Now, before we do our, I suppose, our linear pattern, which is the focus of this video, we're going to just apply a little fillet to the chocolate bar. So we're going to go features, fillet. We're going to set the fillet parameter in here. We're going to change the dimension here to 0.35. And what we're going to do is we're going to select the outside faces. Face, 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 and face. And there we have it. Okay, we're also going to select the outside faces. No, I won't. I'm not going to select the outside face here. We'll just do it on the actual this surface here. Click the green arrow to accept. And now it's a little rounded edge on our little chocolate piece. Now, instead of actually going through the process of making all of those again, okay, we can have those steps repeat in what's called a pattern, okay, and it's a linear pattern. We can have them going horizontally across and also vertically up. So to do that, in your features toolbar, if you go to features, you'll see this thing here that says linear pattern, but if you click the drop down arrow, you'll see that there's lots of different patterns we can do, but the one we're practicing today in this video is a linear pattern. So I'm going to select this. Now, what it's asking for us here is a direction. Direction 1. What direction do I want this guy to go? I want it to go along this direction. So if I select any line kind of going in that direction there, okay, I can actually do it. So I'm going to select this edge. Doesn't really matter what edge. I'm going to select this edge or this edge. So in direction 1 box, click on the edge, and you'll see that the arrow has come in pointing to the right. Now if your arrow comes in pointing to the left, all you do is you come over here and you can flick the arrows by clicking on this icon. Now I want it going right, so I'm happy with that. The distance here, you would have to know your dimensions. Sometimes it may be a case of playing around with it. But let's say I leave 10 there for a second. And the number that I want is, I do want 4. One, I want another one here, another one here, and another one here. If you want to, let's say if I just go 2, absolutely fine, and I have 10. 10 millimeter gap, and you'll see what happens here. Now, what I want to do is, I'm going to delete this. That's automatically selected from the previous one. We're going to copy our features. So if I go over here, you'll see the sign tree is kind of gone out here. If I click the drop down arrow, what I want to copy is not the base. I do not want a new base. I want the chocolate bar, which I still have to rename the features. So this was the boss extrude step. So I'm going to select this. Okay. I'm also going to select cut extrude, and I'm going to select fillet. Okay. Now the distance here, excuse me, the distance here is wrong. I'm going to set this to 1. That doesn't matter yet. The distance here is incorrect. So I'm going to change this now to 25. Okay, and you'll see a new chocolate bar is after coming in, a new piece. But I don't just want 2. I want a 25 millimeter gap between them, and you'll see the little spacing between them there. Okay, and what's important to note is, if you didn't select the fillet, if you didn't select the cut extrude, you'll actually just take the shape of it. But I want the Cadbury logo to come with it. So that's the cut extrude icon, and then the fillet brings all those little curves with it as well. Okay, so I needed to select those 3 things. Now instead of 2, I can select 3 and 4. Okay, and there we go. We now have got our 4 pieces here on this side. Now for direction 2, okay, I'm going to set my dimension here to something slightly different, but I need to select a direction icon. So for my direction icon, what I'm going to select here, I'm going to click the line, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this edge right here. And what you'll see then is, if you look at the arrow is actually pointing down. So watch this, that's absolutely fine. We'll leave it point down for a minute, okay? But I need to once again set my parameters. Now, I've got a row here, I suppose, for all the word. I need another row above it, so I need 2 rows, not 1, 2. So 2 is my number. Now, it's after all going because my dimension here is kind of conflicting with it. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put in a second dimension here, and the second dimension is 22. 2, 2, click somewhere on the screen. Hopefully this will come in a second. Now, once again, it's not coming in. The reason being is because my arrow is flipped the wrong way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the arrow here, and it's going to flip the arrow up, and hopefully this works. There we go. So the arrow, because the original line was down here, I needed it to go up. So very important, it was important there that my arrow was pointing up. And you can see there that we've got our 8 squares now. Okay, now that we've done that, we're going to click the green arrow to accept. Okay, and there you have it. So there's our little chocolate bar. I'm going to go over here now and I'm going to edit these. So this step here, if you want to pull the rollback bar up, you can see what it is. It'll kind of grey out everything else. Click on it, press F2, and this is, I'm going to call bar base, and I'm going to call this bar chunk. Okay, cut extrude is our label, so click on it, press F2. I'm going to say Cadbury logo. The fillet is not something we would have to, I suppose, rename. And then linear pattern, and I'm going to call it, I suppose we're going to call it bar chunks rather than chunk. Okay, so the chunks of the bar chunks, and there we have it. Okay, Now, that's our bar. We're after practicing our little linear pattern, and we're after seeing how it works. What we're going to do now is just going to quickly apply an appearance. So I'm going to go right click. I'm going to click on this little icon here, the drop down arrow. And very important here, I don't want to just do the individual face or the individual step, which was like, say, the pattern. I'm going to either do the whole body or the part, but because it's one icon here, I'm just going to click on, it doesn't really matter, I'm going to select part. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to select the color over here. It's really easy. So look, that's actually not a bad color. You can go, I suppose that's more of a milk chocolate color. This is kind of getting towards more dark chocolate color. It's kind of somewhere in between, but I actually kind of like that. It's probably a little bit pale. It's probably a little bit too. I'm going to go with this one and click the green arrow to accept. Okay, just applying. There's obviously no main kind of chocolate material side of things here. Okay, but there you have it. There is our little chocolate bar, and obviously all the little individual squares, not squares I suppose in this case, rectangles on the inside of it, and we practice a linear pattern there. Okay, so at this point here, all you do is you go File, Save As. I have a folder where it's already in, so I'm just going to say bar 2. Okay, I'm going to say chocolate bar 2 and save it into the correct destination folder, wherever that is. So chocolate bar 2, click save, and that's done there. Right guys, that there is the video teaching you about some boss extrudes, learning about draft angles, using obviously the angles there to create, instead of maybe possibly doing something like a revolve if you wanted. And then we also did some extrusions and cuts, and we also did then a linear pattern. Okay, hope you found that helpful guys. That's the video done.